Welcome to the Vibe Within podcast. I'm your host, Gab Cohen. Each week, we will connect through stories and conversations about wellness, yoga, addictions, spirituality, mental health, rituals, and everything in between. The goal is to transform our traumas into strengths to create the change we desire in our lives. My mission is to help others by shining awareness on real-life topics so we can learn new ways to heal physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Whatever you are going through in this moment, you are not alone. So let's connect and heal our vibe within. Hey guys, welcome back to the Vibe Within podcast. I'm your host, Gab Cohen, and that song that you just listened to in the intro is called Her Life by a DJ called 2 Feet. And I've actually known about this DJ for a long time. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard this song before or other songs of 2 Feet. It's like dubstep, electronic, kind of like heavy, chill music, and it's funny because my nickname in college was Gabby 2 Feet. Don't ask, but that was my nickname from a lot of my guy friends in the days when I drank and did drugs and partied, and those days are long gone. So in a good way, right? So this is a solo episode, and like always, I have lots of notes and topics that I'm going to go through. We are in Scorpio season now, so buckle up and embrace your dark side. I've been feeling, depressed. I'm just going to put it out there. I've been feeling depressed, and instead of me saying, you shouldn't feel depressed, you have you have food on the table, and you have a place to live, and you have a job, and sometimes none of that matters, and it's a neurological imbalance. And this is something that I've been talking to my therapist about, and I was putting off actually recording this solo episode because I've just been feeling kind of down in the dumps. And then I realized, as I've just moved, I'm in a new sublet for a few months. I have my own place for 3 months, and instead of me just moping around and being by myself with my cat or doing what I usually do, like, journaling, watching tarot readings, decorating, just doing all the things, why not sit down and record the podcast episode? Because this is literally the only thing that brings a deeper sense of connection, because even though I'm alone when I'm recording these episodes, I feel like I'm hanging out with you guys. I feel like I'm talking with you guys, and the things that I take notes on and the things that I bring to these solo episodes is because as a clairvoyant and as an intuitive and as, someone who has been teaching yoga for almost 9 years, holy fucking shit, it's a long time. Almost 9 years. So it's like I can feel, especially in my yoga classes recently, like last night, there was like 50 people in there. I mean, and it's restorative yin yoga. I feel like my classes have been getting more packed, and it's a lot of masculine energy, which I love to see. And my yin yoga classes on Thursday nights are packed because people literally need it. Their bodies are craving it. And it's like, I've never in my life had yin yoga this packed, in the whole 9 years I've taught. And that tells me something, that the collective is going through some kind of, well, now that we are in Scorpio season, people are ready to turn within. People are ready to slow down. So I kind of wanted to share something I wrote about the new moon in Scorpio. It's something short. It's not too long, but it's a little blurb about the new moon in Scorpio, and it just talks about the energy. So before we get into the rest of the topics, I just want to read you a little bit of this. New moon in Scorpio. Honor your urges to turn within. Find balance with your routine. Are you self-sabotaging? Do less. Be more. Long stretches, open them hips. Create a new vibe in your home. Light some seasonal candles, cuddle with your pet. Lessen the amount of toxic shows or podcasts you listen to. We are sponges that absorb the energies around us. Know that whatever people are going through has to do with them. Try not to take things personally, as this is a very challenging and shadowy time for many. Get a therapist. Talk to someone. Write out your thoughts and clean up your space so you feel clean from within. External spaces reflect internal feelings. Do an act of service to get out of your head. Give some food to a homeless person. Listen to music that you haven't listened to in a while. Clean out your closet. Call your family members and tell them you love them and miss them. Send letters or cards. Do something creative. Connect to your inner child. Take a class if you have the money. Make art, dance, sing, move your body. The darkness is temporary. Feel your fucking feelings. Don't stuff down your emotions. Say what you need to say, but say it kindly. Do whatever you can to nourish your body and mind. Be kind, but hold your ground. Boundaries and truth are needed in this time of death and rebirth. Clean slates and new chapters await us. Embrace your darkness. Walk with your shadow. Let people see your mysterious, bizarre side. Speak your mind and be kind. Delve into pleasure and pain and pleasure. Without the other wouldn't exist. Feel your feelings. Cry, scream, yell, sing, laugh, express, dance. Embrace your full weirdness, because people like it and they feel more comfortable around you when you let the facade of perfection dissolve. Let your shadow show. Let your mistakes show. Let your imperfections be seen, because within that rawness attracts people to feel safe around you. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. You guys already know how obsessed I am with therapy. I talk about it all the time on this podcast, about how I have 2 therapists and how I go to therapy every single week. Well, I've been going to therapy for years, but once 2020 hit, the year of chaos for all of us, I really needed extra support. And BetterHelp has really been there to guide me through these chaotic times. I've been dealing with anxiety, depression, and I also have been in this recovery space for disordered eating and just a host of other issues. So BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. You can start communicating in under 48 hours, so all you have to do is you take a quick online quiz, you answer some questions about what you're going through, what kind of therapist you're looking for, and you can literally write in the answers, I am looking for this kind of therapist, I am looking for an expert in this field. That's what I did, and they matched me with a therapist who has tons of experience with eating disorders, trauma, and depression. And to be honest, I love my therapist so much. She's probably my favorite therapist I've ever had. And I've been through like a variety of therapists over the years. Me and her really hit it off. And even if you don't hit it off with your therapist right away, because let's be real, finding a therapist can honestly feel like you're dating, Don't worry, you can always change therapists as many times as you need. No questions asked, no charge or anything like that. So you can always change your therapist and then get matched with a new one that day. So BetterHelp is not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It is literally professional counseling done securely online. And what I love about BetterHelp is that they have a journal feature. So if you're going through something challenging through the week and you don't have an appointment until, let's say, next week, you can write a journal entry. It's all online, it's secure, and if you'd like, you can share that journal entry with your therapist so that they are on the same page, they're caught up, they know exactly what you're going through, they know whatever triggers you've been dealing with over the week. And what's awesome about BetterHelp too is that your therapist will respond, so you can actually communicate with your therapist in between your sessions. So it's not like you only get to talk to your therapist once a week. You can check in with them frequently in between your sessions. You can catch them up to date. You can kind of communicate with them every day if you wanted to. And the online journal feature is really nice for folks who are new to journaling or just need that extra support. So communicating with your therapist more frequently could really benefit you if you're going through a rough time. BetterHelp is more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is available if you are struggling right now. BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today. You can visit betterhelp.com/vibe. That's betterhelp.com/vibe. And you can join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. You deserve the support, you deserve the healing, and you are not alone. There are so many people who are struggling with severe anxiety, depression, trauma, all of these things, and you don't need to suffer in silence anymore. So visit betterhelp.com/vibe for a discount on your first month of online therapy. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/vibe. And that discount code will get you 10% off of your first month of online counseling at betterhelp.com/vibe. Okay, so let's get deeper into this episode. So if you're dealing with depression, that's pretty normal around this time of year. Especially for folks who are in the northern hemispheres, colder weather. It comes with a series of reasons. I mean, last year I remember I made an episode all about seasonal depression, and maybe I'll repost it because it has been pretty much a year and a lot of people found that helpful. But yeah, you can go back and just search seasonal PTSD. I think that's what it was called, and I'll try to remember to put it in the show notes as well. But basically, recently I've just been stressed and depressed, and moving took it out of me. But what I've realized is that change is the one thing that can break apart the depression wheel. And what depression thrives in is boredom. And I started to notice that because I started to dread the walk to the gym, which is just a 10-minute walk. But I started to dread it so much because it's the same shit. You're seeing the same things. You're walking the same sidewalks, the same dog shit on the sidewalks. It just started to become so repetitive that I felt like I was in Groundhog's Day, and that for me is a big trigger of my depression, because when I wake up in the morning, I want to be excited, and when your routine starts to get so repetitive to the point where you're not even excited to go to the gym, or you're not excited to go to work, or you're not excited to do the things that once brought you joy, that's a big red flag that the depression is starting to snowball, or just get a little intense. So just, staying mindful and being aware of that. But I realized that also finding balance in my routine is something that I struggle with, and that also gives me depression because for me, working out and, using the sauna or going for a walk, these are all things that are good. But when it gets to the point where I have to do these things in order to feel worthy of doing anything else, like, oh, like, I can't really enjoy my day until I walk X amount of miles, or until I use the sauna, or until I work out, or like, that is actually self sabotage. And healthy things that we do, like working out, eating healthy, going to the gym, doing things that make us happy, there's a fine line between, it's serving us and helping us thrive and sabotaging ourselves. So for me, I've had to find balance, and the last week, I really challenged myself to get out of my comfort zone and not do things that I felt like I needed to. I was pretty addicted to using the sauna, and I still am, because it's the one thing that makes me feel better with my Hashimoto's and my autoimmune and my inflammation and stuff like that. But what I realized is that I was actually sabotaging myself and causing full-blown cystic acne. I went and I got a facial, and the girl was like, "Oh my god, your skin looks fucking terrible. Oh my god, what happened? Like, it looks so much worse than last time." And I was like, wow. Estheticians will just kind of say whatever they want because they want you to get more facials from them, or they want you to buy their products, which I understand. But and I really like this girl who I get facials from. She means no harm. She was just being totally honest, and my skin did look like shit, and it was a complete wake up call, because the sauna and the sweating and the constantly heating my body, it's good only to a certain extent, and then it's harmful. So I'm saying this because anything that we do can be helpful until a certain extent, and then it can be harmful. Eating healthy can be amazing until a certain extent, until it turns into an eating disorder, and then it's harmful. Doing cardio, lifting weights, can be amazing for your body until you overdo it, and then you start getting stress fractures, and then you start getting injuries, and you start stressing your body to the point where you're in pain all the time, and you're wondering why you have back pain, or you're always swollen, or and I've even learned recently, like, when you do too much cardio and too much exercise, that can fuck up your hormones, and you can like gain more weight. So it's like, it really is all about balance. And I know that's a little side tangent that I went on, but I think people need to hear it. I'm gonna continue talking about depression and kind of go through my notes here that I have for the episode. Depression thrives when life begins to feel super repetitive and mundane, and not in a good way, because there is the mundane that's beautiful, right? The magical mundane, where you enjoy just being in your apartment and lighting a candle and doing the dishes and listening to a podcast, and that's a magical mundane moment. Going to the grocery store and just like shopping for some snacks that you really enjoy, that's a magical mundane moment. Going for a walk outside and it not being about how many calories you're burning or how much time you're walking, or something that I've been doing recently that feels good is when I am doing my BetterHelp counseling, I do audio calls instead of video with her, because I like to go for a walk and do my therapy, because when I'm walking, I feel like I get more out of it, and I'm not just like sitting in a chair stagnant, sitting in shit, so I like to go for a walk, and that's what I did this week, and it felt really good, walking for 45 minutes and talking to her, and I felt really grateful. Moving was really, really fucking stressful. I mean, I found a place, luckily, and it's not far from where I work. I take the train. It's not far. It's a really easy commute, so I'm really grateful, and I have my own space. But the whole month of October was so fucking stressful. Physically, going through health issues, trying to find a place, basically spending all my money to move and to make my old roommate's life easier, because she's going through a really rough time with her family, and her mother's sick, and it's just really sad. And there's just some things you can't change. There's nothing we could do about it. So I am just really grateful that I found a place. Um, but I think everything does happen for a reason, and I would never say that this is good, that I had to move out and that her mom's sick. I think it's horrible. But I think maybe I needed my own space too for a few months, just to focus on my health, get some better sleep, change my routine, because I was starting to get in a deep, deep depression. And I was living there for 5 months. And I don't know if it's because I'm a Sagittarius, but it's not that I get bored in a place, but I quickly get depressed when my life starts to feel the same thing every day. And I think that's a problem. I think, like, it would be really cool to finally, like, be in an apartment for, like, more than 2 years. The longest I've ever lived in a place is, I think, 2 years. And I've been moving around like crazy the last 3 years of my life, and it's gotten to the point where I'm exhausted and drained. And depression will strip you of the joy that you got from things that really make you happy. Like, today I taught yoga. Last night I taught yoga, and I felt pretty good about it, and I enjoyed it. But I gotta be honest with you, over the summer and through September and pretty much all of October, I dreaded teaching yoga because I didn't feel good in my body, and I still don't. I still am healing. I'm still on medication. I'm still, like, trying to figure out my thyroid and my autoimmune stuff, and it takes time and it takes patience. So if you're dealing with any kind of healing physically, it takes time and it takes trial and error, and it's so fucking frustrating. But what are you gonna do? I mean, I think that's why it is a blessing in disguise for me that I have my own space, and I just want to express how important it is to have your own space. Even if you live with people, you need to have your privacy, you need to have your boundaries, you need to express what you need. Privacy is really, really important right now, especially during Scorpio season. So really try to hone in on your safe spaces, your routines, the places that make you feel good, and try to switch it up. So if you're starting to feel stagnant and you're starting to not enjoy waking up in the morning, like every day is the same, you need to start breaking apart your routine and start adding different things in. For me, I'm gonna try to go to dance classes again. I mean, there's one class at Equinox, and I've been teaching at Equinox for like how many years, and I've like never taken advantage of the fact that they have a dance class there. And I'm hoping it's not like Zumba, because I'm really not a fan of Zumba. And I was a dancer for a long time in my childhood and my adolescence, and the reason why I'm even thinking about going to a dance class, which I hope it's like hip hop or modern, but I had a dream the other night, and it had to do with dance. I'm not going to bore you with my dreams, but the whole thing with Carl Jung and Jungian psychology is our dreams are literally communicating to us things that are in our subconscious that we push down in our waking life. So I have not even thought about going to a dance class in a while, because I have all these health issues. I'm not feeling good in my body. I've been moving, stress. And now that I am somewhat settled and I have, a little bit more space and time to just, reset. I had that dream and I woke up and I was like, wow, and then and I think also what tied it in for me was I was watching one of my favorite tarot readers, and she was saying, like, what things did you do when you were little that you don't do anymore, that you, like, don't let yourself do anymore? And that's dance for me. So think about something that you really miss. And, if you're fortunate enough to have money to go take a class, or, dude, YouTube has free tutorials. I'm sure YouTube has dance classes. Um, I didn't even think about that until right now. I'm sure there's tons of choreographers on YouTube teaching free dance classes, just like there's people on YouTube teaching languages and how to read tarot and how to fix things and how to do things. So try to bring something new into your life, because Scorpio season is about death and rebirth. It's about killing off the parts of yourself that are really just like not working, the habits, the routines, the thoughts, the behaviors, the self-sabotage, and then rebirthing something new and bringing new fresh energy in, even if it's in minuscule ways. The fact that my commute is different, the fact that I'm just seeing different things on my commute, that I'm taking the metro and that I'm not walking the same walk, that completely changed my world. It opened up my whole world. I feel like I'm in like a new dimension now. Like, it really, like, our atmosphere and our surroundings really do affect our energy, and it's so crazy. And I actually want to talk more about that, because lessening the noise around you is so important when it comes to anxiety and depression. Because I realized recently, after I moved out, my old roommate is going through a lot, and I feel like, it's easy to get super stressed out and take it out on other people. I do that all the time, especially to my mom, which I'm not proud of, but she's just one of those people who I can do that to, and she's always gonna love me. And I'm working on that for real. Like, I love my mom. She came down here to help me move, and it was like a really nice couple days that we spent together. It was really hectic and really tiring, but it was really nice to have her here. Like, we went to Target and Home Goods and did all the things. But you know lessening the noise around you can instantly help nourish your mental health. And lessening the noise, I mean, TV shows, movies, all those things trigger depression and anxiety, and we absorb the energy around us. Even if the show is not happening in real life, even though it's in a TV in front of us, your body and your mind still absorb the energy of the show. Anxiety and depression it's like an open wound, and if you expose it to anything hot, cold, poisonous, it'll burn and it'll get worse, right? So it's very sensitive when you're depressed. Your mentality and your psyche is very sensitive, and you need to be careful with what you're watching, with what you're ingesting. Not food, but media, social media, because we are absorbing everything. And sometimes I'll watch something, like I'll watch a show, right? Like, I was watching the show You on Netflix, which everybody's obsessed with right now. I watched the first season of that during quarantine in the beginning of COVID, and I've been waiting for it to come out, and I've been, enjoying the show. But then getting deeper in the show, and it's like I started to get super anxious and panicky and uncomfortable and felt uneasy. And it's like, well, you're watching a show where people are murdering other people, and they're trying to not get caught, and they're terrified, and they're hiding things, and they're lying. And it's like, I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm just very, very fragile and sensitive. And I think people with anxiety and depression are sensitive. And I think that there's something to be said about that. That maybe watching one episode here and there is fine, but I've had to really just stop. I've had to really just stop watching shows unless it's like straight up comedy. I've been listening to the Nikki Glazer podcast every day because it just puts me in a good mood, and they talk about mental health and they talk about things, and she's a comedian, so it's fucking hilarious. And so I'll do that, or I'm gonna start watching Curb Your Enthusiasm because I kind of like that show, but even that, like, even that, I watched a couple episodes of Curb Your Enthusiasm, and then as I was watching it, I was like, ugh, like, it feels like I'm absorbing Larry David's neurotic, like, narcissistic, fucking judgmental, energy. And it's like, we really do, though. We absorb energy of these fictional or non-fictional characters, whatever, on TV because we're watching it, and it's literally vibrating into our being. We learn from shows. We remember things people say on shows. We remember energies from shows and movies. I remember, movies and shows from when I was a kid that still to this day have stuck with me in such weird ways, you know? Our brains are so fragile, and I mean, there's tons of people out there who are depressed and anxious and who can watch horror movies and it doesn't bother them. More power to them. But if you know that you're sensitive and you know that you cannot tolerate much and you start to feel panicky or uneasy or fidgety or just feeling uncomfortable, or, that's a big sign that maybe it's time to lessen the noise. So when you have anxiety or depression, your mind becomes really, really easy to absorb things, and our dreams can become terrifying, and it all depends on what we are consuming during the day. So Scorpio season is a time to create a clean slate and just stick to a few shows that make you feel good, a few podcasts, listen to some music that makes you feel good, that helps you, and try to really make a complete new slate, and really, really delve into the energy of Scorpio, of death and rebirth, because now is the time. Our souls are ready for it. Our souls are ready to purge the habits and the things that are keeping us feeling like shit. One thing I'm trying to change is my sleeping pattern. I'm trying to go to bed early. I'm trying to not wake up in the middle of the night and look at my phone, or, eat a snack, or, I'm trying to just go to bed, wake up early if I can, and I'm not going to judge myself if I can't wake up early, but I'm trying to fix my sleeping pattern, because that is something that it's just fucked up, and stress plays a lot on our sleep, and who we live with plays a huge role on our sleep. The place that I was in before was super, super noisy, and I'm having a better time sleeping here, so that's nice. I'm just looking at my notes right now. So dating, let's talk about it, because I'm not even doing it. Are you dating? If you are, I'm giving you a round of applause, because I do not have the fucking energy to do it, and it's okay. I was talking to my therapist about it, and I was like, I feel like I'm wasting my life away. I'm just getting older, and I'm not dating. And she said, one thing at a time. you're focusing on your thyroid, you're focusing on physically healing, you just moved one thing at a time. You can't do everything all at once because that's not what life is about. You have to do one thing at a time. You have to, make little goals, little manifestations, little intentions. It's like if I went on a date right now, I would be so, I don't even know. I mean, I haven't gone on a date since the DMT dude, the spiritual dude that I made that podcast episode about, dating in the spiritual community. If you haven't listened to it, I highly recommend it because a lot of you guys DM'd me about dating people in the spiritual community. And after that date, I just realized I don't really want to date someone spiritual. I don't really want to date a yoga teacher. And there's so many people who tell me, oh my God, you should, this yoga teacher, this guy, he would be your type, right? And it's like, no, that's not my type at all, actually. I do not, and I've never been attracted to yogis who are dudes. Ever. Not in that way. Because I need someone who is an alpha male. Yeah, sure, you could go to a yoga class, you can be aware and be spiritual, but when I had that date with that dude, I felt like he was making me feel so dumb that I didn't do plant medicine and I didn't do DMT and I didn't do shroom ceremonies. And it's like, and I didn't even explain myself to him because I didn't feel like he even deserved to know why I don't do those things. Because the real reason is, well, I actually have had a near-death experience on acid. I literally had a seizure, pissed myself, almost died when I was 20 years old. So yeah, I'm not really that keen on doing psychedelics, and especially right now as I'm, healing my autoimmune stuff, I'm on medications, I'm trying to figure shit out, I'm getting blood work, and I'm trying to really just get healthy. I don't need to be tripping. I don't need to do DMT. I don't need to escape this reality. I want to be able to be happy in this reality. I don't want to take drugs that take me away from this reality, and then when I come back to this reality, I'm miserable and depressed and I feel like I need to escape again. And as you guys might know, because maybe you listened to the episode with Kate, the ketamine nurse, I have dabbled in ketamine for healing my depression, but it's at therapeutic doses and it's not like I'm snorting it. And when I told this guy, the DMT dude, he judged me super harshly. And he said, "Oh, DMT, that's a dark energy drug." And I was like, "Okay. You're entitled to whatever opinion you want." And yeah, I've seen the dark side of ketamine. I've been to Envision Festival. I've lived with a ketamine addict in Philly. I've been around the ketamine scene in Philly, and it is dark, and I did not enjoy it. But ketamine for therapeutic depression healing is way different, and this guy just judged the fuck out of me, and that was such a turnoff. So dating is really just, you have to be ready for it. You have to be ready to feel uncomfortable and embrace that discomfort. And when it comes to being uncomfortable and finding comfort in the discomfort, it's like I can do that in a hard workout, in the sauna. I can do a really challenging yoga class. I can fast all day. I can do all of these things that are challenging and inflicting suffering and pain on me, right? But when it comes to going on a date with someone, that terrifies me more, and that seems like a whole new level of challenge and suffering and I'm not ready for it. And I have a funny story because a lot of full circle moments have been happening recently. So this has to do with a guy that I ran into here in Miami. So you might be experiencing these full circle moments, especially because when Scorpio season comes through, um, we're nearing the end of the year, and there's just something about the fall and the winter where we get hit with these epiphanies and these full circle moments. And when things start to make sense, things start to come back around to you. And I know that I mentioned this in maybe my last solo episode about the 2-year cycle that we're just coming out of. So think back to November 2019 and what was going on there, and what was happening there. Um, so for me, in 2019, I was hinge dating in Miami and whatever, and I met this guy, and like we had a really good time. We did not have sex, but I slept at his place, we cuddled. He definitely wanted to have sex, and I told him no. I purposely didn't shave my vagina because I didn't want to have sex. So I did that. And I even told him that, and he was like, "Oh no, like it's fine." And I was like, "No, I'm not having sex with you. Like I'm not with this hairy vagina." Um, so it's been years since I've seen this guy, and I went to 3 Points a few weeks ago, and we got rained on, and me and my friend who went to 3 Points together were like running around trying to figure out how to leave, where the closest exit is. It took us like 30 minutes to get out of there. We're soaked. It looked like we jumped in a pool with our clothes on, like literally. And we're walking in Wynwood. We're trying to find the car. We're walking, and this group of people is behind us, and I hear the guy say, "Oh, we didn't even see anyone we wanted to see." And then the girl was like, "Oh, I can't believe my phone was stolen. What the fuck?" And so we like, we're like, "Oh my God, that sucks." Like we start like talking to these people, and I look back, and it's the dude. It's the hinge dude that I hooked up with a couple years ago. And he was looking at me weird, like side-eyed, and I honestly didn't recognize him at first. And then he started talking, and I saw his tattoo, and then he started looking at me weird, and then I was like, "Whoa, you look familiar." And he was like, "Yeah, you do too." And he like started laughing, and I was like, "Oh my God, what's your name?" And he told me his name, and I was like, "Holy shit, dude, nice to see you." And like we hugged. But I think one of the girls was his girlfriend. I'm pretty sure. I'm really not sure. I can't tell. But that's like a full circle moment, and it's like out of all the people in Miami, we were walking in front of that dude, and it's really interesting because that is the last dude in Miami that I have had an intimate connection with, and without sex. We hung out, we went to we had some drinks, we went to his place that night, we cuddled, we listened to music, he showed me his music. It was like a really nice time. And then that's like when my life was like going to shit. That was like the beginning of my Saturn return. And it just made me think, wow, I totally forgot about this guy and the intimate connection that we had that one night. And I was like, it is possible, like it is possible to meet someone and have that safe, intimate connection, that safe intimacy that we all crave, right? But I feel like with dating apps, everybody is just swiping and swiping and swiping and messaging and messaging and messaging, and nobody wants to actually do the thing, go on the date. And I'm not one to talk, right? Because I don't want to go on a date, and I'm like a fucking pussy. But I feel like everybody is just like, instead of making plans with this person, Why don't I just keep swiping and keep tapping because maybe there's somebody hotter or somebody who matches me better? And it's like, we're all cheating ourselves. We're all fucking cheating ourselves, and we're just alone. And then the people who are putting themselves out there are usually the people out at the bars getting shit faced, and that's a different kind of portal because it's easier to flirt and connect in a fake way when you have liquid courage, you know, in the form of cocaine and alcohol, especially in Miami. I mean, it's like black or white, you know? It's like you're either super single and alone and depressed, or you are out there and mingling and drinking and doing drugs, and or you're in a relationship. The building that I'm living in right now is really cool, and I want to take advantage of being here because it's like a lot of young people who live here, and there's always a lot of people at the gym. There's couples, there's singles. They even have like yoga on the terrace, I think on like one night of the week, and it's like this is my kind of way of trying to meet people. And I encourage you to find ways to meet people in the wild. Like the gym is, for me, I feel like the gym is like the easiest place to meet people because you can easily say, hey, how are you? Um, are you done with that machine? Whatever. Or just say hi, say hi. And it's scary. It's really scary to say hi to somebody who you think is attractive, or you don't know what they're thinking. You don't know what they're going through in their life. You don't know if they have a girlfriend or a boyfriend. You don't know if they're asexual, pansexual, bisexual, straight. You don't know if they're crazy or not. I mean, the stakes are high, but I think there's something to be said about millennials and how I think a lot of us are craving new connections, friendships, new circles of friends, new opportunities. And Scorpio season is the time of death and rebirth. As I've said a million times in this episode, you're probably like, shut the fuck up, Gab. I know what Scorpio season is. So, yeah, meeting people in the wild it's like, oh my God, where did I hear this? In the olden days, in like, the 40s or the 50s or whatever, when a woman was attracted to a guy walking down the street, right? She would like drop her handkerchief or she would drop her purse in the perfect timing so that the guy would pick it up and she would say, oh, thank you so much. And then they would, say hello to each other. And then that was kind of the way that people met each other. And women would do those kinds of things. I forget where I heard this. It was on a podcast, but it makes so much sense, where it's like, that would be awkward, now, like, oh, what am I going to do? Drop my phone, like fling it across the room and, hope that the guy picks it up. I don't know. It's just, I guess I'm just thinking about it too much too. It's just like, say hello, say hey. If they don't say hi to you back, then that's like kind of weird, right? I mean, we just came out of a pandemic, and it's like, if someone said hi to me, I'd be like, oh my God, someone just said hi to me. Wow. Like, I feel like we're all so love starved. We're all so touch starved and sex starved and intimacy starved. And it's like, if someone says hello, it's like, that's really exciting, It is weird though. I feel like people are very, very intimidated. And it's like, even like in elevators, some people just don't say hello. And it's like, when my mom was visiting over the weekend, me and her are so alike when it comes to that. Like, if we're at the checkout or at Publix or at the food store in the elevator, like she's always like, you know, petting dogs and saying hello and making weird voices and trying to make people feel comfortable. And it's like, that's how I am too. Like, I really am. But sometimes I just get too scared to say, hey, hi, how are you? How's your day going? Nice to meet you. What's your name? But I really want to challenge myself and do that while I'm living in this building, and I want to meet people, and the only way to do that is to put yourself out there, right? If you're not meeting anybody at your job, you're not meeting anybody in your routine, you you have to put yourself out there, or else you're just going to be lonely every single day. So that's something I need to bring into my life. And I wanted to talk about a guy also that I met at the gym, right? I teach at Equinox, and he also works there. I'm not going to say what he does, but one day I was sitting in this back area, like in the spa area, because it was raining out, and I was just waiting for it to stop raining so I could walk home. And he comes out, and he's looking at me, and he's like, are you good? And I was like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just a yoga teacher, I'm just sitting here just waiting for the rain to stop. And then we started talking, and he seemed really into me, and asking questions and kind of flirting. And at the end of our conversation, he asked me for my number, and he gave me his number. And it's just like, okay, cool, you gave me your number. Then we started texting, and it was like kind of flirtatious. And then one day I saw him. So the day that I found out that my grandmother has blood cancer, this was in September. I found out like as I was teaching yoga, and then I had another class to teach that night, and I literally probably looked insane that night. Like, I was on the verge of tears the entire night. I don't even know how the fuck I taught, but I did, and I got through it. And I remember he was texting me, and he was like, how are you? And I was like, honestly, I'm not okay. I just found out that my grandmother has blood cancer, and maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe I shouldn't have just like said that to him. But he asked me how I was, and I wanted to be honest. And maybe I was looking for a little support, or just like, I don't know, attention. That sounds horrible, but like, maybe I just needed some support, I needed some like words of love. And it's not like I've even known this guy for that long, but I feel like comfortable around him, or at least I did. Now I don't. So let me just keep explaining. So once I said that, I feel like that was it. Like, his attraction to me like ended, because I was like real for a second, and I like said something that I was going through. And it just started to get very like cookie cutter, like, oh, I'm so sorry, let me know if I can, I don't know, it was just so like, I don't even know if I have the text anymore, because I probably deleted the conversation because I was so pissed. But it just seemed so like, oh, he's not interested anymore because I just got real. And that's a shame when guys get unattracted to someone when they are real, or they express something they're going through. Because it's like, well, what do you expect? Like, if you start fucking someone, or you start dating someone, do you think that they're just gonna never go through anything bad, and they're never gonna go through anything traumatic, or they're never going to be upset, or they're never going to be dramatic themselves? Or that's living in a fake universe. And I felt the energy change. I felt it, and I was like, oh, this guy's not interested anymore. And what's funny is that the night that we met, that first night when he gave me his number, he said, oh, like, I'll give you a massage sometime on the house. I guess I just told you what he does at Equinox, so there you go. He's a massage therapist. And he said, I'll give you a massage. Just let me know when. These are my days. And then we started texting. Okay, well, like, are you free this day? Blah, blah. And then right after I told him that about my grandmother, it's like he stopped asking me, oh, like, when am I gonna give you a massage? It is so weird to me that me sharing something vulnerable like that turned him off. But then I started talking to my gay friend, and I was like, if you see this guy around the gym, can you tell me if he's gay? Because I honestly can't tell. And I do get a little bit of a gay vibe from him. But I also don't. I also get an alpha vibe from him. So it's like really confusing because he's like fully tatted, neck tattoos, like dyed hair, gauges, like not saying that someone like that can't be gay, but I didn't think he was gay. And so, I'm just trying to figure it out if he's gay or not, but it doesn't matter because he's obviously not into me, especially after yesterday, because I always run into him on Thursday nights now. It's like God just wants us to run into each other and have an awkward encounter, and that's just the ritual of Thursday nights. So, we run into each other, and he says, hey, how are you? Like, very nice, but awkward, and, small talk that never means anything, and it always feels super rushed. It always feels like we're rushing to end the conversation, but like for some reason I feel like he's hanging on by a thread, like he's interested but he's not, and like he wants to run away but he like wants to ask me how I am. And so he did. He asked me how I was, and I was like, I'm doing pretty good. How are you? And he's like, yeah, are you like getting back into things and stuff like that? And I was like, oh, what do you mean? Because of my grandmother? And yeah, she's doing better. And I said, she's doing great. She's really resilient. She's taking chemotherapy pills. I just talked to her yesterday, actually, and she's doing really good. Thanks for asking. And I was like, what are you up to? Or do you have a massage? Or what are you doing? And he was like, oh, I'm going to go to Chipotle. And then we had a stupid, dumb fucking conversation for a few minutes about how Chipotle is dirty, about how he used to work there, and about how I used to work in restaurants and how restaurants are dirty. And I was like, okay. And then I had students coming up saying hello, and then I had to go teach, and I was like, all right, well, it was good to see you. And it was like, oh, and then before this conversation ended, he looked at my drink. Okay, this is so fucking embarrassing. Please, I do not understand why this happened, but it just fuels my disordered eating mind. He looked at my beverage, which was a watered down green juice. I watered it down because I need to drink more water, and I know I won't drink water because I hate water, and I need some kind of like taste in my mouth to drink things, and I know I needed to drink more water because I was teaching 2 classes. He looked at my drink like in disgust. I swear to God. I'm holding my drink. I look at it. It's like a light green color. He's like, what is that? And I was like, oh, it's a green juice. And he was like, that's a green juice. And I was like, oh, it's watered down because of the ice. And he was like, oh, okay. And he was like laughing almost. And I was like, all right, well, have a good break. I'm going to go teach. And I was just like, I walked into my class with my spit green mucus juice, watered down juice. And I was like, at first I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Why did I water this down? And then I was like, no, what the fuck is wrong with him for commenting on my juice or my water? Like, who the fuck cares about what's in my fucking cup? You have nothing else to say? You couldn't say anything else? You couldn't say, oh, I like your leggings, or you look nice today, or you look great, or have a great class. You had to comment on what was in my drink cup and like laugh at it. I don't know. That just really, really ticked me off. And then my eating disorder brain was just like, yeah, that is weird. Why did you put water in it? Ugh, you're so weird. Now he thinks you're so weird that you have watered down green juice. It's like, dude, if someone's gonna fucking think you're weird for the beverage that you're drinking, that is some fucking weird ass shit. So I just had to share that because that really confused me, and I was just like, maybe we're all awkward right now. Maybe we're all fucking awkward coming out of COVID and this pandemic, and none of us know how to socialize. But you know what? I do know how to socialize because I have hung out with people here and there, and it's like maybe he's the one who's awkward. Maybe he's the one who is gay or led me on or doesn't know what to say. I just don't know anymore. But at this point, I have given up. And I think I even deleted his number because I'm like, this is never going to happen. And it just sucks when you meet someone who you're like, oh wow, like I like their energy. They're kind of comforting. I feel kind of safe. And then all of a sudden it just gets super awkward. It's like, well, I guess that was, you know, never mind. Never mind. I'm wondering if are you guys having sex? Are you guys having sex? DM me and let me know because I'm just wondering, are people having sex? I know that there's a lot of articles circulating right now about how millennials and kids, not kids, but adults 18 and over are having less sex than any other time because of social constraints and COVID and everything like that. And I think it is important to pause and to retreat within and to not have sex and to not date, and especially if you're dealing with anxiety or depression or panic attacks, it's like that is a clear-cut sign that you need to find days when you're not working, hours in between working or taking care of your family or taking care of, whatever, to retreat within and like find moments of your day to make little self retreats to, focus on yourself. There's a couple other things I wanted to talk about, but I'm gonna wait until the next solo episode because we're already at an hour and I don't want to take up any more of your time. Whatever you're doing, like washing the dishes, walking, at the gym, in bed, hanging out with your cat, your dog, making dinner, running errands. I love podcasts. I really do. It's like, it helps me in my depression. It does. It really, really does. I think that's between therapy and podcasts and tarot readings, those are like, I know it sounds so lame, but those are like the three staples of my life that whenever I come home, I know I can listen to a podcast and make dinner. I can watch my favorite tarot readers and get some clarity. I can, listen to the Sam Harris podcast at night and get my neurology and psychology in. And that's what rituals and routines are about. It makes you happy. It makes you feel grounded. It makes you feel some kind of order in your life. And I guess that's a good place to end it on, is Scorpio season is about reordering things, finding a different, energy, finding a balance of putting yourself out there, challenging yourself, like if you want to meet people, you got to challenge yourself, but also stop doing the things that are making you feel worse. Like, are you doing too much? Are you saying yes to everything? You're overworking yourself, you're over exercising, you're you're doing things that are healthy but are self-sabotaging, you know? So I'm just going to leave it there. I hope this podcast episode helped you. You can support the podcast by supporting the sponsors, BetterHelp, which has changed my life. So you can use discount code, you can go to the link, betterhelp.com/vibe. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/vibe. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a DM on Instagram, GabLoveFlow, all one word. I have openings now for tarot readings, healing sessions that are a combination of tarot, breath work, talk support, and, a lot of my clients are going through like depression, anxiety, toxic relationships. So right now is a really good time to get that extra support. So if you're interested, I have all that up on my Etsy. I have, if you live in Miami and you are interested in private yoga sessions, I have a few of those open as well, because I am living in a new building and there's a super nice little yoga studio here in the gym. There's also a nice outdoor area. So if you need some one-on-one yoga sessions, let me know. Restorative, yoga for weight loss, yoga for core strengthening, injury repair, meditation, yin, vinyasa, power yoga, whatever you need. I only have a few of those open, and then I only have a few of the tarot healing sessions open as well. DM me if you have any questions, and I hope that this helped you. Share it with a friend or a family member that maybe, could benefit from hearing these things. And as always, you can support the podcast by sharing, subscribing, leaving a review, rating it. You don't have to, though. It's up to you. But I love getting your DMs, and I love when you guys share in stories and tag me so I can see what episodes resonate with you guys. So I hope that you are having a good start to your Scorpio season. Embrace your dark, turn within, reflect, retreat inwards, and start changing your outside surroundings, your atmosphere. Start meeting new people, or at least change your routine. Death and rebirth. Let's do it. All right, we'll talk soon. What can she do? Constantly